One way out. One way out. G'day, welcome to the Nerdy Dad channel and my review and discussion of the 10th episode of Andor, One Way Out. As with the other episodes in this arc, One Way Out was directed by Toby Haynes, and damn has he done a good job, especially with this one. Now, with the 3-episode arc structure, we all knew what was coming this week, and that goes double after the conclusion of the last episode.
How many guards on each level?
Never more than 12.
And One Way Out does not disappoint. If I had to sum the episode up in one word, that word would be epic. And yet, there are still 2 episodes left in the series, and this show could get somehow even better. Okay, to keep talking about this episode, I'm heading into spoiler territory in 3, 2, 1. The episode opens on the medic from last week zipping up the body bag that contains Ulaf. A final send-off to the character, and a somber reminder of what Andor and Kino have just been through. Look, this is almost immediately after that fist-pumping moment of no more than 12. Kino is telling Andor that he's insane. Andor has convinced him of the need to escape, but when he's told it has to be now, it's too much for him to take on. It's too fast. Andor is likely right though. The guards are afraid, and the facility would be asking for and could possibly get either more guards or other ways to control the prisoners. And then there's this brilliant exchange.
I call that power. Power doesn't panic.
One could argue that this statement applies to Krennic as well. Also, we've got the only explanation I think we're ever going to get of what they were building in the facility. Clearly something they need, because the what isn't important to the story. And then they tell the rest of the day shift what's happening. And the next morning, it's on. There's no turning back.
We are done with counting shifts. There is only then and now. There is only one way out.
The one thing that's never let up through the whole series is the tension. But in this episode, the action is also top-notch. Their jailers are outnumbered, but until they get their hands on some blasters, the prisoners are literally outgunned. Many of them fall, but many more of them break through. They literally pick each other up and push right through the facility. There is one way out. They have to climb. Cassian has, for possibly the first time this season, taken an active leading role, but he knows that it's not his role to make that speech.
You need to help each other. You see someone who's confused, someone who's lost. You get them moving and you keep them moving until we put this place behind us.
I have no idea how they get off the planet, but at this point, I more than trust this production team to give me something satisfying that I didn't know that I wanted. Okay, moving on. Deidre only gets a small part this week, and as much as anything, the scene that she has is there to highlight ISB supervisor Lonnie John, who's important later in the episode. But in this scene, he contradicts Miro, and Major Partagras ends up running with his idea, and she is not happy.
That is exactly what we will do.
I also need to talk about Mon Mothma's arc here. Despite being a sci-fi, Star Wars is set a long time ago. But my God, are some of the practices we're introduced to here simply medieval. I mean, Mon was married at 15. I think she was made a senator the same year. Look, I don't think our politicians should all be 80, but 15 is too young. And it's also way too young for marriage. I mean, in last week's review, I wondered if we'd meet Davo Skulden this week. And yeah, we did. And when we did, what he wants in return for his help is to arrange the marriage, or at least the meeting, between his son and Mon's daughter later. So medieval. I mean, it's still 3 years until we know that Mon Mothma leads the Senate, so she's sort of safe. But what's going to happen to her? Is Tay going to go down for the money instead of Mon, leaving her even more isolated? 2 weeks left, and I can't wait to see, her one way out. I mean, one way out where she's not caught by the Empire and she doesn't sell her daughter to a crime lord's son. With Cyril not in this week's episode, the last character we need to talk about is Luthen. Claire informs Luthen that he wants to meet him. We just don't find out right away who he is, but it's ISB supervisor Lonnie Jung. And when they meet face to face, Stellan Skarsgård's Luthen Rael delivers one of the best monologues in the series. Hell, I'd say one of the best monologues in Star Wars, if not TV and cinema. Except, in this very same episode, we got that equally impressive monologue from Andy Serkis's Kino Loy. So, while we're still trying to figure out who Luthen is and what he's done, in some way we now know what he's sacrificed.
So what do I sacrifice? Everything!
There's only 2 episodes left in the series, the penultimate and the finale, and I can't wait to see what Gilroy & Co have in store for us. There's loads more coming up on the channel, including plenty more Star Wars content, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. This is the Nerdy Dad, signing off.